This is Black Views, bringing you the Black News. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It has been crazy on Twitter lately. I mean, the Tethers are upset. They're on full effect. And I suspect that a lot of the Democratic shills are Tethers because I see comments that are put out on Twitter, and then when you reply to it, just on your daily feed, just going down, you will see different tweets of different things. Some of the stuff you follow, and some of the stuff just shows up in your list of tweets. And you'll see one, it'll say something about Kamala Harris, and she's been a victim of racism and misogyny and men and let's get it clear. I am not Republican, nor am I Democrat. But I will say this. I was raised as a Democrat because my parents were Democrat. Their parents were Democrat. So my mentality was as of a Democrat. And when I say my mentality, I'm talking about we didn't even look at what exactly they were offering. We trusted that because they were Democrat, we felt that they were for black people because they spoke nicely. They watched their words and they were kind, I guess, sort of way when they spoke. They never really spoke to us. They always spoke over us. But when they spoke, it was in a way that was a little more gentler than what was on the Republican side. The Republican side were, they were more straight up just racist. And, as young people, we just kind of went with that. We didn't really look at, and that was a mistake on our part, but we just weren't knowledgeable in politics that way. Nor was my parents, nor were his parents. They trusted those that went to HBCUs, got degrees, and became lawyers, thus politicians. So we trusted them, and those were the gatekeepers, and thus you have today. So, as a child of a Democrat, I look at the Democrat, and a lot of people look at the Democrats as like a base for black people and was for black people. And I say was because things are changing now, because media is no longer just one mass media where there's just one message that's going out and it cannot be responded to. It's just something we have to watch. When I was growing up, basically you watch TV and, that was it. You heard the radio show. If you weren't able to call in and shit, your call would get even screened, and you wouldn't even be able to ask the questions or debate or become versed to what you're hearing. And today is much more different. You have YouTube, Instagram, you have TikTok, you have Twitter, you have many different types of media that goes out in different directions that individuals have control over. You don't have to interview for a job. You can get on the microphone, you can speak, and if someone else likes what they hear, you may gather attention. So time is different now. We're able to ask questions where before we just didn't really ask questions because there was a Democratic party, they had a TV show, they had a speech, and no one asked any questions back. It was just this broad signal that went out. And so today, when we look and when we have a candidate like Kamala Harris that will say she's black, okay, listen, there's two things. When you say you're black and you don't do what you're supposed to do, people start to look and say, well, how can this person say they're black but then don't do this, and this? Now, if a person just said they were black and they did what they were supposed to do, no one would ask any questions. We wouldn't even ask where Kamala's from. We wouldn't even be asking, is her daddy Jamaican, whatever, because she's doing things for the betterment of black people in America. It's real funny that when you start to ask these questions, and you start to ask, what will Kamala do for black people? And I asked that question because that's who black people are voting for, Kamala Harris. So I'm asking, what are you going to do for black people? Then there's other people that get upset. Well, she can't really do anything for a particular race. I find that funny because there's an Asian hate bill, there's an LGBTQ bill, there's a countless other things. Polynesian American, Afghans, Asians too. Did you know, like, the rest of everything pretty much outside of America is Asian? See, so this big broad thing that Asian hate bill, and whoever decides that they want to be Asian at that time, they can fall into that, and it pretty much is used against us, but we have nothing. Our sister Sonia Massey was just executed by a race soldier. Is there any hate crime bill? And then they'll say, "Oh yeah, well, that's what Biden brought up, but Congress didn't." There's nothing, no pressure being put on, no deals being made to get these things done. There's absolutely nothing, but we can send billions to support Israel. They'll say, "Well, they're not sending. America's not sending Israel any money." Well, they are getting money for to help fight their war. They are getting money because they have Americans in Israel. Okay, you see how that goes? There's Americans in Israel, but on the other side, there's no Americans. So we're not going to be involved in that. And that's just how it goes. But that's allowed to happen, but we can't get the things fixed that we need fixed. It's almost like the rest of the country would rather see poverty and ghettos in the United States and that black people be in them than to fix the situation and stop aiding these other countries that are at war with other white nations. Amazing. Okay, so once again, and I go back to what I said earlier. I believe that the Democratic Party, the shills at least, have been captured by Tethers, because when you begin to ask questions as to what they're going to do for black people and how they feel about it, they don't have no feeling. Like, for instance, in Chicago and all throughout the United States and every pretty much every major city, there are black people that are shooting and killing. But they make it sound so bad, but you don't hear any plan to assist that other than we're going to give police to cities. There's no other plans. There's no $15 billion to aid with services and education to give alternatives to at-risk youth. And then someone will say, well, there is a plan like that. Well, you know what? You keep putting money into it. Just like keep putting money into the war, keep putting money into it. Saturated. You see, there's no effort in these things. And then what's asked that's going to be done for black people, they're going to say, immunity for police. I mean, how did it get this far? Democrats have been in office all through Obama. How did it get this far? And nobody did anything about it. But now you somehow pointing at Trump, the reason why there's an immunity law. Like, that's, did she say she was going to get rid of that? Maybe I missed that. I mean, is there anything in writing? I mean, is there any communication that she created where basically she's saying she's going to get rid of the immunity law? This is what I'm saying. It's all scare tactics. All right. They already have immunity, right? I mean, right? I guess within certain situations. I'm sorry, because I think only federal has been affected by that. And guess what? Federal is in most cases are not patrolling your local communities. All right, unless you are in Washington D.C. and you on Federal Park. So we're not even going, we're not even going to take the federal route. We're not even going to take the route that Trump is responsible for that. I'm asking, what are the Democrats offering black people? Is it abortions? How are abortions, okay? Women's rights. Okay, fine. All right, I'll give you women's rights. But how is that helping black families? Black people, right? Because see, the black woman, right? Right, the family is basically with the children, along with the children and the husband. So how is the abortion helping the families? Now, if you want to say there are women that just need women rights because they want to do what they want to do, all right, whatever. We'll go with that. But what are you doing for black families? I know hate crime bill is not helping black families. Even if you had a hate crime bill, even if there was a hate crime bill for black people, how are you helping black families in the current situation? They are not even being addressed by Democrats. They're just these long slogans about voting. And here's the other thing, voting rights. What are the voting rights? What do you mean? If you do not have an ID in 2024, I'm sorry. That cannot be used as a scare tactic as to why black people should vote for Kamala. Voting rights. And first it was a civil rights bill with I forget his name, but we good. Then with the voting rights. See, and this is how you forget these people's names, because they have done nothing relevant, That's why all these black people, politicians that have died, just like Miss Jackson died. She died. No one is going to remember her because she has done nothing significant for black people. And in fact, when she is in office, they did nothing. And then when you have these discussions about black families, people get upset. They really can't. What black person says that? It just makes you wonder. They can't be from here. There's no way they can be from here and grown up here, and they're not saying, yeah. What are they gonna do for us, black families? Because black families consist of a man, a woman, and a child. Okay? I mean, you can have, a woman and child, however that family's situated, but the main nucleus, but you still needed a man to create the child. So, I mean, that man, woman, and child. So I asked myself, if you really look into what's going on, she's there to support black women with black men. I'm sorry, black women with white men. Look at it for what it is. The Supreme Court Justice, black woman, white man. Kamala Harris, black woman, white man. And it seems that the only people, those people that are looking for zaddy, and those people that are coonified enough to, especially Tethers. Oh, female Tethers, they love that, and most Tethers, they seek whiteness because they feel that is the standard. And only if they knew how funky and disgusting that whiteness is. They just don't know, because many of them come from disgusting environments. But just think about that for a second. She separates the black family when she talks about the black woman. Oh, black woman is nothing for the black man. Now think about it. Her father was so they say, a Jamaican, right? She has nothing good to say about that. She grew up with her Indian mother. So her customs are going to be of who she grew up with. She went to a HBCU for black people. And then she turns on us and we get none of those services. You see how it goes? She used our resources to become who she was. Even dated a black man, Willie Brown, okay, who was I believe he was a mayor of San Francisco, and I think he was some other type of legal, whatever, what the fuck. But they dated. He helped boost her. And what has she done for the black man? Absolutely nothing. But she has risen her way up by way of black people and black men. Her whole career stems off black people. Working in our kitchens and basically locking up our people. And at the end of the day, if you ask a simple question about what is she going to do for the black family, you can't get a straight answer. Or you're going to get something like, if you think I'm going to do something, no. Like, who would say that? She wouldn't say, if you think I'm going to do something for white people, no. Then she tries to say, rising tides rises all boats. I mean, I just don't think that's logical, because we're not rising. The same people are not rising. The business, I can look in the neighborhood and see the businesses are not there. The opportunities are not there. The businesses are still given to those who just step foot into this country. Things need to be changed. So if you look at who's running a better offering for black people, it would appear it would be those that are getting these extra people out of your neighborhoods. You may not, hey, listen, everybody got different ideas about immigration. You may not have, listen, I don't have a problem with immigration, but guess what? You got illegals coming over here getting loans. Illegals coming over here. I mean, all in the middle of the street driving scooters. Upon black people used to get arrested, beat down, and shot because they were on scooters. But these people come and get schooled. See, a lot of this isn't about the mere fact that they're here and the mere fact that they're operating. It's about the mere fact that when we were put in those situations so that we could come up, we would be down, arrested, cited. I was here. I know. So in 2024, don't come talking to me like this is something new and black people are hating on everyone else. No, we've been hated on since the beginning. Anytime we try to get up, to get ourselves up, we've been hated on. And now you put these people before us? You see, that's our vision on it. And there are us that are still alive here that remember when we went to those in uniform, when we went to those African nations to assist them back during the Rwanda days, back during Restore Hope days. When we went to those countries and those people were barefoot and pregnant and they needed assistance, we assisted them. And now today, I see their children here. Oh, I heard someone on Twitter, calling other black people niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were talking to them with the hard R, though. You know what I'm saying? Like they were talking to them and they were with their white friends and they were showing out for them. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow. And these people come over here, you know what I'm saying? And they have like no loyalty to nothing. They come here to cosplay as us until they can beat us. I grew up believing that Tethers were basically our allies. When we grew up, we were in search of who we were, and we tried to. I believe we tried to make a connection with Africa because that's what we were told. Because that's what was in our history. That's all that was available. Wasn't, internet and all type of resources. They weren't prevalent to those that were the average man in the city. Maybe if you had access to books and libraries, you would have knew better. And you had time to sit there and look at all, but you would have knew better. But we were told we were from Africa. And so we allied with those that came from the diaspora, those that were from Haiti, those that were from all those places. They came into our communities and made mockery, man. Violence. And then they played off like, on every chance they got, they would say like, I'm this, I'm Jamaican, I'm not black. I literally say they were not black. I'm Panamanian, I'm not black. They would say they were not black. And I would argue with them about how they were black. And we just went along our days. We didn't really pay any more attention to that. Then as if you play more close attention, their parents were telling them, don't hang around them niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be a nigga like them. You be smart. You be better. So I get it. In their mind, they thought that they was some type of new improved nigga. You know what I'm saying? A new, improved nigga that'll be excellently subservient to you know, the majority class, the white people, and so thus there's the tether. And so that's why today we are delineating. That's why we realized that we were foundational Black Americans. Okay, because the reason why there are people that are so-called black that are coming to America from somewhere else, and then they'll say they are Black Americans, and they don't share the same customs as us. They don't have the same excellence as us. Look at what we have done with music. Look at what we have done with sports. And these are just the genres we were allowed to operate in. To operate in. Such like acting. No, if you know you didn't have production back. I mean, you could do things now, but back then you couldn't make movies because you didn't have cameras. You couldn't afford the equipment, you know, to really be known, and the marketing and all those. See, that's why when you see these movies that came out, that's who white people allowed to be out. That's why the people that could be in the movies today, with 30 years, come back as some homosexual or some shit, because that's what they were the whole time. They just fooled the masses because they control the entry into those establishments. And I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but I'm talking today mainly about how people act on Twitter. It's some weird individuals, man. I'm telling you, they are unlearned. They don't research shit. Let me tell you something. White supremacists don't research shit, and he'll make a chart in a minute. And the chart will say, one child will say this, another child, and it'll always be per capita, which means that they admit and they acknowledge that they are the the mass murderers, they are the criminals of the land. They admit all that, but they try to say per capita to make it somehow even to them or more. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's three pieces of bread and one goes stale, and they say, well, you know, 1 out of 3. When 3 million of their pieces go stale, and do you understand the difference here? Like they will try to take their times 10 multiply and bring it down to our size, and then say that's per capita. And then on every block you look on, they're like perverts, pedophiles, and you know, I mean, these are people have no honor. Imagine you win Top Gun and you never get to hear about it. If you look, the first 2 winners of the Top Gun show unknown, which tells you the second one's probably died. Like all the people, they were hoping they would die off, and then the people now, the officers and the gentlemen now didn't have enough integrity to pull that Joan out and be like, hey, you know, they hid this. No, we had to wait till what, 2021, something like that. That's when we found out. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. I know I jumped all over the place, but I try to hit a lot of things because the tethers are really pissing me off. I see a lot of tetherism and a lot of zestiness going on, you know, with these people. They don't care about black people. They don't care about black families. Look, they don't even care about black men that's with black women that are in families and have relationships, because they're not even talking to you. They're talking over you. Like they want this big macho woman, black woman, to step up and be in charge, and then they want the man to be, you know, they want him to be flamboyant. They want him to flare the hill. They want him to have that booty hole play, and that's not what we doing here. So right now I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna come back later, you know, as I look on Twitter and just see the craziness, man. That and these people are voters too, you know. So this is Black Views, bringing you the Black news. Thank you very much. Like, also subscribe, and thank you for listening.